Hello, everybody. If you're here for Ashton College's info session for our upcoming Red Seal exam prep, you're in the right place. My name's Matthew. I'll be your host today. We're going to be joined by our instructor, Kevin. Maggie over there is going to be around from our admissions team to handle any questions, and we have Maria in the background in case we have any technical stuff happening. So with that in mind, how are we doing today, Kevin?
Oh, really good. Pleased to meet you and excited to join you on this.
Oh, yeah. No, lovely to have you again today. Okay, so to kick things off, can you talk with us a little bit about your experience, educational background, and what's brought you here to teaching?
Well, I've been in the trades since 1991 now, and I've did a lot of the trades. I'm a welder. I've welded all over British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. So I've been to a lot of provinces, which wouldn't be possible without having the Red Seal. You got to have the Red Seal in order to travel province to province. So I've been in that welding trade for 26 years. I ran around with a portable welding truck, and I did welding all over the place. And then I got into teaching at the local college here, and I did that for 7 years, and I've taught the Red Seal for 7 years, and I really enjoyed it. It's one of those things to me that if you can pass on your knowledge, your information as a tradesman, it doesn't matter what trade you're in, it benefits the younger person going in or the student that's going in, no matter what his age is, it really benefits him to pursue his career to a higher degree.
Definitely. We love it when we got an instructor with a lot of experience. That definitely sounds like one heck of a life with a bunch of stories traveling around, but those will probably be more for another time.
Yeah.
Maybe if you take the class, you'll hear a couple.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes it so nice. You can get the instructor's information from those classes. You can get his experience from the classes. You can't, you know what, you teach experience as well as the class, the material you need. And the experience to me is really a part of the teaching that I do. The experience has a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah, that definitely sounds awesome. So you've already sort of danced around this point, but for those of you who aren't super familiar with Red Seal, can we talk a little bit about what it means, what it is, what it allows you to do?
Yeah, the Red Seal is a certification that you get after you're done your apprenticeship. Once you're a journeyman welder, you end up writing an exam to pass that Red Seal. And the Red Seal allows you to weld all over or do your trade all over Canada. It's recognized Canadian-wide. So to me, it's a really valuable resource that you really need. It's like you said, you might not think today or tomorrow that you need this certification, but as business slows down in some provinces or something happens with your family in different provinces, with that Red Seal certification, doesn't matter if you're a carpenter, plumber, pipe fitter, or whatever you are, you can take that certification with you and get a job. Like you said, today's job market, the more certification that you have, the more employable you will be. And like I said, today you might not see, when I first got my Red Seal in 1993, I really didn't know what it meant. I wrote the exam, I passed the exam, I didn't know what it meant. But over the years of welding in different provinces and that, I come to understand that it's probably second behind my journeyman certification. So it's one of those things that really I know a lot of people that I've taught over the years, people that I know over the years have failed the Red Seal and say, oh, I don't need it anyways. I'm going to just stay in BC or I'm going to stay in Saskatchewan or Manitoba and weld all the time. And guess what? This course from Ashton College is perfect for that because it refreshes you, gives you the information, and gives you a great, like I said, you forget about some of the stuff you learned in your journeyman classes, your apprenticeship classes, and this Red Seal course refreshes your memory, and then you can successfully go in there and do that exam.
Yes, no, definitely refreshing is good, especially because like you mentioned that like some people have taken the test, failed it. Maybe some people just haven't been in a classroom setting and probably since like the 90s even.
That is exactly right. I've had a few students over the years that actually come into Canada from a different country, and then they challenged their journeyman, and so they didn't do the first, second, third, or fourth year of their apprenticeship. So then all of a sudden they want that Red Seal, so they don't have the material, they don't have the knowledge, and to sit in on this course, it's so good for them. They just, like I said, we got lots of material for you. We show you how to do multiple choice exams. We point you in the right direction. And then of course, the second thing is that if you want to put in the time, other than just the weekly seminars that we give, you will have no problem at all passing that red seal. So like I said, it's not only Canadians, it's from other countries that come into Canada with their certification. They get granted their journeyman status, and then they have to do that red seal too. So it really helps a lot for that.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely the other big like market for like somebody who might be interested in a course like
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
People who've been able to challenge, have the knowledge, but now just need that extra little push to be able to prove it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some of the qualities that this course is going to help students to develop?
I think like you said, it refreshes your, in the industry, it's different between Canada, or if you go from Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC, Manitoba, and farther east Ontario, every trade is a little bit different in there. So this course benefits you in a way that you might have learned a little bit of this information, but you didn't learn enough to have full knowledge of it. And this course really gives you that information so you gain more knowledge for each of these different. In welding, there's so many different avenues you can go into, and it really it changes the outlook when you're done this course. You do this course, you'll really have your eyes open to what you're missing out on. And you said, it'll really set up for you to be more gainfully employed.
Yes, no, because like it's definitely the standard now that the assumption is anyone who has completed their apprenticeship just has that at the end as part of it, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah, that's what it is typically. But like you said, if you challenge and then you don't have the study material, you don't have the knowledge of the red seal. And the red seal, like I said, it's different. The welding's different, or the carpentry's different. The codes are different in Ontario, Manitoba, and the red seal comes from all over Canada. So you're going to have questions on different parts of it where you've never ran into in BC, let's say, if you took your apprenticeship, or if you're in Saskatchewan, so you're going to be able to get all that information and be able to successfully pass that red seal.
Of course, and just that explanation there has led a bit into what was going to be my next question, talking about the general structure of these courses. Obviously, we do Red Seal exam prep for a whole bunch of trades. I believe that you are our welding instructor, so you might be able to speak a little bit more to that, obviously.
Yeah.
But like in general, what are some of the major topics that like is going to be covered in these courses?
It doesn't matter what trade you're in. The red seal will go right from safety. Right? Safety will be in a block one. It's all done in blocks. So you're going to have block one is going to be safety. Block two might be in your trade. It might be tools, right? Safely use those tools. The tools you're going to be using in your job. Some of it's even occupation health and safety. You're going to have to know a few of the codes when you're doing it, right? So you got to get into the codes a little bit. So every trade will be a little bit different what those blocks are, but they got that set up, and you can go to redseal.ca and you can look at those blocks. And this the first day when I go into a course, I put that on and I show you where these questions are coming from. So anybody knows that there's so many questions coming out of safety. There's so many questions coming out of OH&S, occupational health and safety. There's so much coming out of tools. There's so much coming out of the way, it could be carpenter, it could be your table saws and everything else. So it's structured in a way that if you go onto that redseal.ca, you'll find out where all these questions are coming from. And you'll find a spot in there, guaranteed that you're going to find a spot in there that you're going to be lacking a little bit of knowledge on. And you're going to have, there might be 17 or 18 questions on there where you don't have a lot of information on, or you haven't had much experience with. And that's where you're going to struggle. So as an instructor with Ashton College, I really focus on those areas because like I said, I've taught this for 6 years. I've taught Red Seal in a college setting, and then I've taught this online there. So I hear stories from students coming back and say, well, geez, I can't remember these questions. Where are these at, or where are these at? So I remember that stuff. And I'm sure all your instructors and all your trade would say the same thing, that then they faithfully put or pass on that knowledge. Really, we get a class in the Red Seal, and your goal is 100% pass rate for all your students. As long as they put in the time, I guaranteed all your instructors will say the same as I am. They'll put in the time, and we will have, like I said, you'll have no issue at all with passing that Red Seal exam after.
Beautiful. And yes, no, that's definitely like we're here to help. This course is here to help. I don't think like these exams are not meant to trip you up, but let's help you get there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So you've been teaching this stuff for a while. Could you talk a little bit about your approach to teaching, what you would describe your style as being like?
When I teach a Red Seal, like I said, I can speak for me, and I'm sure everybody has a different other style on there. I teach as, like I said, I was a tradesman. I'm still a tradesman. I'm doing a little bit different, but I'm still in the trade that I was in. And I teach to the level of a tradesman. You know what I mean? There's questions, there's answers, I really make sure that I take the time and explain it in layman's terms. So if the student can understand, I make sure I'm available after hours. If somebody's having trouble with the math part of it, there's math in the Red Seal welder. I'm sure there's math in carpentry. There's math in pipe fitting, obviously. So I really make sure I take the time. If you can go individually one-on-one, right? You can have, 10 students online, but you can take the time after class. If somebody has a question on it, doesn't want to ask a question, when everybody's there, you can take one-on-one. And I really like doing the one-on-one with people too, to just make sure that just because one guy understands it doesn't mean everybody understands it. So I make sure that I take the time and I cater to my students. And I'm sure all your instructors will say the same thing. We're not in here just to sit here with a funny face on the internet. We're sitting here to make sure we can pass on our knowledge. And that's part of being a tradesman. I think that anybody that's in any trade, if you're a journeyman, that's part of your training, is to make sure you pass that on to other people. And what better way can you do it than get somebody to get the Red Seal exam so they can be more employable and they can move on with their career.
No, that's definitely important. Like, always worth it to take the time. Like, we love hearing I love it when an instructor talks about how much like just being able to interact with students, like work with them, it matters, because that is what really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to roll into the next little bit of today's session. So what are your expectations of students who enroll in the course? Obviously, you're in the course, we're offering it in the sessions. Like, what do you expect when they bring to class? What are you expecting them to do outside of class?
As a student, and I was a student, and you were a student, everybody's a student, right? As you're learning, going through your life, really, you're always learning. I'm still learning, right? I'm 56, and I still learn every day. I learn from my students once in a while. If I got somebody that's doing something else that I haven't did for a while, I learn from my students. But in a classroom, no matter if it's online or if it's personal, I really make sure the students, they got to want to be there for number one, right? You don't want to pay your money and not want to be there. And you want to be able to put in the time, right? I can teach so much in our 2-hour course every week, but you got to be able to put in the time. I'll send home, study material. I'll send home practice tests. I'll go through it all with them, but it doesn't do you no good if you just crumple it up or you don't look at it. By the next week comes along and you're back to square one again. So you want to make sure the students, I always preach to students, you get out of it what you put into it. And that works both ways. That works for me. And I feel that's how I've become the person who I am, and not just an instructor, not just a welder, not just a tradesman, but it's like you said, I was always taught you put in what you want to get out of it, and that's all there is to it. So if you're not going to try, it's pretty tough to get somebody to learn. But if you're try, you got a little bit of try on that end, you don't mind, emailing somebody after or texting somebody after and asking them a few questions on there. Like you said, I'm sure all the Ashton College instructors for the Red Seal or any online course they have there always will give you the time. So don't be afraid to ask questions. That's one of my big things with them. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I've asked questions before and I thought after, geez, that was a dumb question, but it's not. There's no such thing as a dumb question as long as you learn from it.
Exactly. And like sometimes like it might, even if you're scared if it's a dumb question, sometimes it's something that really matters. Like one thing you've said, like block one safety in all these courses.
Bet,
like
you bet. That's exactly
no such thing
right.
as a stupid question, but in a safety environment.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I'm sure that builds onto other parts of everything too. You've already answered. I was going to ask if this course includes any practice exams. You've already mentioned one of the things you like to do is send home practice tests.
Yeah, I make sure I do it, and we go over them the next week, and I'm sure they all do. Like I said, the one thing with passing the Red Seal is you got to be comfortable at writing the Red Seal. That's number one, right? If you're not comfortable when you're writing the Red Seal, it's going to be hard for you to write. If you get nervous when you're writing tests, I kind of go through that on the first day of the course to make sure that all the students are really get comfortable with the exam. Like you said, most of the multiple choice exams, I still write exams. I'm a weld inspector and I'm a weld tester. So I do exams all the time. And you get into a multiple choice exam and what happens right away is you can't figure out the first, second, or third question. And then you start to panic. You know what I mean? You go on. But if you get taught a little bit, like you said, you can put that out of your mind, just leave them blank, go down the questions until you get to some you can answer. And then when you come back, your exam might teach you the answer from the questions previous or after, and you'll come back up and you'll be more comfortable and you'll be able to answer those questions. So it is, it's one of those things. You got to learn how to write that exam. You got to learn how to write any exam. So if you're nervous at writing them, we just got to get comfortable with it and you'll be good.
All right. Okay. So obviously you've been getting at this big part of what we're going to learn here is just how to approach exam, how to get comfortable with it. What's you've talked? It's a multiple choice exam, but a multiple choice exam, you're going to get asked some things from like every single block, just in differing amounts. Can you talk just anything else about the format that like we're going to help people get comfortable with when they're ready to write this?
Yeah, that's what it is. Like you said, you want to be comfortable when you start. Like you go through it, and you're going to have different. You'll know before you write this exam how many questions are on this block, how many questions are on this block, how many questions are about occupation, health, and safety. So we go through them. We won't know exact questions or the exact answers, but we're going to go through them and give you all a chance at practicing those exams. One thing that I really noticed with those exams with the red seal is there's two answers that are pretty close, right? So if you go through a multiple choice exam and the way I do it, you can mark off one, you know what's wrong. You go to another one, you know what's wrong. And then you got two that might be pretty close. So you make sure the number one thing is to read the question all the way through, right? Because if you read half a question, you might get the wrong answer. You want to read it through, understand the question. And I always tell my students too, is make sure if there's words in there you don't understand, substitute them for a word that you do understand, right? That's an easy way of going through that. So once you understand the question, then the answer comes a little bit easier for you at the end. You got to understand that question. And I have, when you get other people from other countries coming in, when I'm teaching again, a lot of stuff here is pretty second knowledge, or you know what I mean, that the top rung of a ladder you can't step on. But lots of people, if you come from another country, you don't know that. So when I'm teaching, I really make sure that I take the time and explain what a rung is, right? If you're from Alberta and you're in that trade, you're from BC and in that trade, and you grew up that way, you know what a rung on a ladder is. But if you're from a different country, you don't know what a rung on a ladder is. And like I said, so if I got a student, I expect him to say, what is a rung on a ladder? And lots of people won't say that. And I just try to preach to my students, just make sure you ask the question. It's not a dumb question, right? So, and that is one way too. Like I said, you want to make sure you read through the questions, read through all the answers, eliminate some of the ones that you know are wrong. And you're down to, I guarantee you'll be down to 50-50, and then you'll be able to read through and take. If you can't get that answer on that question, I really recommend just leaving it and going down, because I've seen it lots of times before where as you go down the list of your questions, oh, there's the answer for the one up above. So it really makes sense to make sure you, like I said, you don't want to get flustered. That's the biggest thing.
Yes. I mean, there's only so many tricks a multiple choice test can have, so it's important to know how to be prepared for them.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Okay, you've talked a little bit about like what a rung on the ladder could be. Like, I know that, you know that, but like it's a regional thing. Like maybe if English isn't your first language, you might not be aware of that. This sort of leads into like, can we talk a little bit about what exam accommodations that a student can request? Like, could they get a translator if they need one?
Yes, you can. Like you said, if you're going to get a translator, if you need a translator and you're going to write this exam in the province that you're in, make sure you contact the apprenticeship board or the where you do your journeyman test, where your test is done early, to make sure they got some notice that they can get that in there with you. Like if you're special needs, they will accommodate you, but you can't just go in the day before and say, hey, I need somebody in here, because they won't accommodate. So just make sure you take the time, contact where you're going to be writing that exam. It's usually in the professional building or a apprenticeship building here in Alberta, that you contact them and they'll set it up for you. So there is some help for you that way too.
Yes. No, it's definitely good that, like, again, everything, not my first time doing this session, but like one constant thing is like, they want to make sure they know these exams are meant to make sure everyone knows the stuff up to a standard. They're not meant to trip you up. No, if you help yourself, they can help you.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, that comes back to the same thing that I said before, is like I said, if you don't understand that terminology, it's a big one to just, like I said, ask a question. If you don't feel comfortable asking in front of a crowd, just contact your instructor after and just ask them what that means. Because that's a simple, a rung on a ladder or a step or a railing. If you don't know what that means, like I said, if you come from a different country and you don't understand what that is, then all of a sudden there's 3 questions on there. You're going to be struggling to get the 70% after a while, right? Math is another one. Like you'll get 10 questions of math in the welding exam, welding red seal. It's the same thing. That's 10%. If you don't know it, you're giving away 10%. So pretty soon you're down to, you can only get 20 more wrong, right? So you want to make sure that you understand it all. Like I said, you might not get them all right, but you want to make sure you get at least 70% of every block on that red seal exam.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. So what do you think students are going to like the most about taking this course with us?
I think it's an experience. Like I said, if you can associate with an instructor, if you can associate with the staff of Ashton College, you can contact, you'll get lots out of it. You know what I mean? So to me, that's the biggest thing. Like I said, if you get somebody that, I'm not saying if they don't all bend over backwards, but they take the time, they care. And that's what I've seen with all Ashton College people that I've been in contact with, some of the instructors too, is that they all care, they strive to get 100% of their students to pass. And I think the students enjoy that. Like I said, you get the odd story, it might be for me, welding-wise pipeline story, or you get a carpenter instructor too that might give you a house building story or something that's funny that happened in that. And I think most instructors that come out of the trades, especially, are personable, they're on the same level, and they understand what the students are going through, right? Like it's just one of those things that, and so you're kind of on a one-on-one, you get to know, like I said, you get to know the people. Last course I taught, a guy texted me after for Christmas time and said, Merry Christmas. So you get to be more than just instructor student. You get to a point where you get friendships out of the deal too. So that's, like I said, and that's the way I teach. And I'm sure that's the way any tradesman teaches. Like, so we're tradesmen, we're the same, right? You got a journeyman ticket, I got a journeyman ticket. I just got 25 years or 30 years more experience than you do. We're the same people. So we just pass on our knowledge over to you so you can get the same experience too.
Right on. And no, that's definitely something that stands out because, like, speaking from experience, like, I went through, like, going through university, you don't, basically 90% of the time, you don't get quite that level of, like, interaction and camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like,
with the trade, you seem to.
Yeah.
You get a little bit more of that reaction.
Yeah, definitely. And, like, especially, like, I know, like online teaching and learning, like, it helps to know that, like, you are going to build a bond. It's not going to be like just staring at a screen for 2 hours if you're putting something into it.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's lots of interaction, right? Like it's, you know this, and then you can just go through and just show the people this, and this, and this. So there's a lot of interaction there.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, can we talk about, like, where the labor market stands and, like, how much, like, having your Red Seal certification can make that difference? Obviously, like, mobility is the big, like, selling point. Like, you can go where the work is, but, like, what's driving, like, this, like, what you're saying to somebody who is, like, has, like, for the last 10, 15 plus years been like, I don't need this, I'm doing fine without this.
Yeah, you know, it's to each his own by any means, but I really, in today's job market, today's economy, the way everything is, you know, it's, you know, Alberta's always been boom or bust, but so has all the other provinces. And no matter what, even if you don't plan on moving out of Alberta, you don't plan on moving out of Manitoba or Ontario, to tell you the truth, the more certification, if you got that Red Seal certification on your resume, it's going to be looked at as a positive thing no matter where you go. So that Red Seal, it doesn't mean you have to go to Saskatchewan. You don't have to move into BC, but in your own province where you live, where you work, all of a sudden you might want to change job places. You might want to go to a different shop to work. You might want to go to a different construction company, and they're going to look for that Red Seal, even if you're from that province, right? They want to make sure, because that just proves that you're, you're trained. You know, you're trained, and it's a good deal. So it's a really good certification.
Yeah, no, definitely just proof of knowledge more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. And okay, so there's a lot of career options for career advancement out there. Why should people choose to take this college with us, this course here with us at Ashton College?
I think, like I said, Ashton College, they're fair with their prices. They give people lots of information, the way they set up with all the tech staff and everything else. If you ever have trouble getting on, they're there right away, right? And their courses run in the evening, and Ashton College has, you know, a tech people, anybody, they always, every time I'm running a course, so I got trouble, if this guy can't get on, this guy can't get on, right away, it's a push of the button and they get help. So that just shows you what kind of college it is. They want to make sure the course runs smooth, and they want to make sure that, excuse me, they want to make sure that everybody gets the education that they want to get.
Exactly. And definitely, like, it's one benefit of doing this compared to if you're trying to, like, study for this on your own.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like you said, you can study on your own all you want, but if you're got somebody at least, you know, one time a week, you're going to work harder at it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weeks that if I'm studying at home by myself, something comes up, you know, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next week. Whereas if you got an instructor online, you got a course online, and make sure you're there for that online. I never have no issues with students not coming, and you're going to do the work in between classes. And that's the biggest thing. Online, to me, is the comfort of your home. is second to none. You know what I mean? You can sit in front of your screen on your TV and watch, do the 2 hour, and then you can do all your bookwork at home. And it makes it, like I said, a lot of people ain't comfortable going out. And right now with COVID and everything that's going around, it's a great alternative. Like you said, Ashton College just backs it up with a great staff that really will help you out. If you got any questions, you can email them. You can email the instructor. You got lots of people to help you all the time.
Yeah, no, fortunately for us, online learning's been what we've been doing. So, we were ready to like step up to the plate when everything changed. And yeah.
And really, it's the way the world is now. That's all there is to it, right? Like to me right now, it doesn't matter if you're going to University of British Columbia or where you're going right now, you're working online. So it is one of the things, and you can work at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can work at your own pace. And as long as you got some help, if you got questions, you got some help in between time, which like I said, we always are available. You'll always benefit from that class. Like I said, if you do this class properly, you do the work your instructor does, you do the work that he tells you to do at home, you jot down the stuff that you don't understand, and then you bring it up the next class, right? That's as easy as that. It's pretty straightforward, and you'll benefit out of it really well by the time you're done.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay, I only got a couple more questions left for you today. If you're watching us live, you can and you have a question you want to ask yourselves, by all means, you can type it in the chat box. We have it in the Q&A. We'll go over the admissions and stuff in a little bit once I wrap up this list, in case you're wondering about that. But you will have a chance to ask your questions if you're watching, whether you're joining us from Zoom, live on Facebook. If you're joining us in the future on YouTube, hi, by the way. You won't be able to ask us live, but you'll be able to contact us later.
Yep.
Okay. And all right. So one of the big things here, we've talked a little bit like putting it, you get more of it if you put in, you're going to get a lot of camaraderie. You're going to get like all the tools you prepared. You're going to get help preparing, which is a big thing and like something that you can't get underrated. We're a very supportive environment. We've already talked about that. So I guess to you as an instructor who's been teaching this stuff for a decent amount of time, who's been working in these trades for longer than I've been alive, I would say, what does success in this course and what does like success going beyond the classroom look like to you?
I think the success in this course is to me, it's a no-brainer. You need this course nowadays, right? To me, you need the Red Seal. It doesn't matter what trade you're in. Like you said before, it doesn't matter if you're planning on working out of the province. You don't have to work out of the province, but anything on a resume is honestly, it's going to set you apart from the next guy, right? If you got two people with the same experience, this guy's got the Red Seal, this guy doesn't have the Red Seal, they're going to pick the guy with the Red Seal. That's all it is. Certification really is the driving force of the economy right now, of the job market right now. So you really want to have that Red Seal. And going forward, like I said, to me, in 1993, did I know I needed that Red Seal? No, it was there. It was available to us after we were done our apprenticeship. I wrote it, I passed it, I got it. And, it took me 10 years, 12 years before all of a sudden I needed it. I needed it over here, I needed it over there. I moved, stuff happens in your life that you have to move. And like I said, if you're from a different country and you're coming into Canada, the more certification you got on that resume, the better it is. It's just one of those things. And I really think the Red Seal, as you're moving forward, it doesn't matter what trade you're in, is going to be a driving force for the job market. Like I said, you hear more and more about it. I hear more and more about it every day of people that didn't pass it, like you said, 10 years ago. They don't have no study material no more. And as you take this course through Ashton College, you get the study material, you get put back on board, you remember all the stuff from when you were doing your training. Or like you said, if you're from a different country and you didn't do the training, it's going to put you straight forward to where you need to be to pass that Red Seal. And like you said, it doesn't matter welding, pipe fitter, plumber, carpenter, it's all the same. You want to have that. The more certification, the more employable you are. And it's just twofold. That's all there is. So it's a good course, a good course to take and a good certification to have.
Yeah, no. And I mean, another thing that just came to mind here, you talk is like, if you did it a while ago, you might not know might not know what's changed. Obviously you should be keeping current, but you might not know like what you need to know to pass the exam today.
Exactly. What happens is, like I said, they change that Red Seal from the different trades all the time. And once in a while that does happen, right? Codes change, techniques change, the way stuff's built changes. So you got to keep up on that too. Like I said, if you're, let's say you're a mechanic it changes every day, right? Cars every year, they come out with different stuff on there. So you want to make sure you're up to date with that red seal. One thing I really found out about the most when I started teaching this red seal course again was how many people didn't know to go on redseal.ca, and just it tells you what's in these blocks, what you're going to need for any trade, right? So you can go through there and go right down to sprinkler fitter, whatever you want to be on there in these blocks. So like I said, it's a very valuable tool. First day of class, you get on there, your instructor will show you exactly where these questions are coming from, the material you're going to need, and they're going to be able to supply that for you.
Okay, looks like we do have an audience question there just sitting there in the chat. It's a bit of a longer one. To make sure I'm understanding it is, looks like the person asking is, it's a bit of an immigration question for after registering it. Sorry, this is a longer one. There's a few different parts here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Sam is asking a bit about they've just applied for the qualification through BC. They're coming to challenge the exam. Congratulations. What's the best? The first part is maybe the part like you might be a bit prepared to talk about in broad strokes is like how to get like that next job offer once you're like approved to like challenge for the exam. And the other part is a bit more about the immigration to come after that. That yeah, I'm not sure myself about like the immigration side of that question, but perhaps we can talk a little bit about what your next steps are, like if you are somebody who is coming from like out of Canada to challenge.
Yeah, as long as when you're coming from out of Canada to challenge this exam, as long as the apprenticeship board or the name of the the Alberta, it's apprenticeship board that you got to talk to them, and as long as you got the journeyman status given to you from the province that you're in, you can challenge that write that red seal anytime. You can go in there, you apply for it, you pay your money, you can do that red seal exam. One thing I'll say though is if you're coming into BC to write it, you really got to watch it. Like I said, if you got a choice between Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, the price is different on that red seal to do that exam. Every place you go, every province you go. So just check in. And like I said, if you can write it in BC, Alberta, I've heard BC is a little bit cheaper to write that red seal exam. And it's the same certification always. Same exam, same certification all the way across Canada.
Okay,
or,
yeah.
But
So yeah. Okay, immigration issues to come for this exam after registering. I do believe that this exam is primarily like you do have to come to Canada. There is like no offering.
Yeah, there's
abroad.
no online. It's got to be written in the offices of the apprenticeship boards or the Alberta and district.
Yeah, beyond that, I'm not sure if I'm as knowledgeable about the immigration side. We do have an anonymous question. Sam, if you have further questions, you can definitely contact us, like talk to our admissions people. We can definitely do our best to answer our longer form like questions that way. We have, okay, is there a certificate of completion after finishing these classes with us?
Yeah, you'll get a certificate after you're done finishing. Once you successfully complete the Red Seal exam, you get over 70% on the Red Seal exam. They'll send you a certification with the Red Seal stamp on it, and it's good for your life. It never expires. It's good for life. So.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, that's everything we have from the audience and over here in Zoom at the moment. Maria, do we have any like Facebook questions while we have the opportunity?
Hi, yes, we have one. They're asking, can I become a Red Seal certified if my training took place outside of Canada?
Yeah, so when you do something like that, you got to get a hold of your apprenticeship board and talk to them, and they'll when your training's outside, they'll see if you qualify to be a journeyman welder, journeyman pipe fitter, journeyman, whatever your trade is, and then you can do the Red Seal after that. So your first step would be get a hold of them and make sure your training outside of Canada is compatible, if they accept that training in the province you're in, and then they'll give you a journeyman status, and then you can do the Red Seal after that.
Simple enough.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, you just got to contact them with your, and like I said, I've just had 2 students in my class that same thing. They ended up coming from different countries. They ended up getting their certification. In one was in Alberta, one was in BC, and then they're just writing the Red Seal now. So it works pretty straightforward.
All right. Okay. Maggie, is there anything you want to add from the admissions side?
Hey, hi, Matthew and Kevin. Thank you very much for the wonderful information that we are having here. Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie, Admissions Officer for Continuing Education. To all our viewers, if you are planning to write and challenge the Red Seal exam, we are here to help you. The course is for the tradespeople who might have worked in the field for many years, but never really thought about challenging the exam and getting their Red Seal certification. We will give you the exact preparation that you need to be able to successfully pass the Red Seal exam. The Ashton College offers online Red Seal prep courses for welder, steam fitter and pipe fitter, cook, heavy equipment operator, automotive service technician, plumber, industrial electrician, construction electrician, and carpenter. Our intensive courses will help you review all the trade-specific concepts and theories. We will work with you to identify the areas that you need the most help with. It's beyond question and answer teaching. We want to help you how to use and connect those years of experiences to be able to pass the Red Seal exam. To check all the upcoming start dates, we will all have it. Please visit our website at ashtoncollege.ca. or send us your inquiries at ceinfo@ashtoncollege.ca.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to
Well
reiterate everything in a moment. In terms of contacting us, but thanks for answering that. Yes, so we've had some people asking about like other trades beyond welding. Yes, you have been in the right place. Don't you worry. Like a lot of what we said will apply to everyone.
It applies, yeah. Red Seal is Red Seal. It applies. It's the same way. Redseal.ca will have every Red Seal trade available, and you'll be able to go on there and look at the block and go to Ashton College and be able to take the course that's applicable to your trade and challenge that Red Seal exam.
Yep, simple enough. All right, okay, we've definitely opened the floor. If anyone wants to raise their hand, has any additional questions, we are here for you. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, we're going to give it a half a second here just to give people who are joining us live a chance.
Yeah, like you said before, my closing statement would be, if you are thinking about taking the Red Seal in any trade that you're interested in or that you're a part of, do it. That's all I can say. It's going to be a valuable resource. Ashton College provides a really great course. You will get everything you thought of get out of that course from Ashton College. So make sure you take the time and sign up for it, because like you said, it's a certification that will follow you around for the rest of your life.
Okay, we did have a hand raise from Samuel. He has a question. If you'd like to ask it on mic, can we get him? Maria, can you take that from there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Samuel, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Instructor Kevin.
How are you?
I'm fine.
That's
How's
good.
everything? Yeah,
Good, really
happy
good.
New Year. This is Samuel Onyade from Nigeria. I'm a pipe fitter. I'm the one that sent the written message now that my qualification application has just been approved by
It is approved?
in British Columbia.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but the issue I'm having now that which one I want to do first is to register with the Ashton College and do the training online. I'm still in Nigeria, but the issue of immigration is the issue. Which one first to find a way coming down there, or there's another way we can come down there first, then we do the training, refresher course. That's one. Another one is that I'm coming. Another question is that, are you teaching both pipe fitters and the welder together, or you are just for welder?
Pardon me, I never got that last part.
The last question is, are you instructor, are you teaching both welder and fitter together? Are you teaching them together, or instructor for pipe fitter is different?
The books you're talking about?
You're asking if you're the instructor for welding and steam fitter, pipe fitter.
Oh,
right?
I'm just welding instructor.
Okay. I did. That's nice. Then the other question that I asked, which one I should do first, because the immigration is the issue. Now that I've done by AITA, there is any way that the qualification application to come down and do the RESI examination? Is there any way for us to come down, maybe by getting the job offer, temporary job offer, or we just go and apply for a temporary resident visa? Which one would be the best? Is it to get the job offer from a Colombian employer?
I think that would be the way to go, Samuel. I think I would definitely see if you have a job offer from a company in British Columbia, it'll benefit you trying to get get on in there. That's for sure. It'll show that you got something in British Columbia that you can go work to it, and I'm pretty sure you'll get through onto that job that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm very grateful. If application can get offer, I'll begin to look for the job offer so that it'll be easy for me to get the work visa.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. That'll be first temporary working visa.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm preparing to register now, so I can do my training online with Ashton.
Yeah. That'll work good. It'll benefit you. Like you said, once you get your job offer and you get your visa and everything on, and then come back and do that, go to the ashtoncollege.ca, and we'll be able to set you up on your training. Like I said, if it's pipe fitting or welding, whatever ones you want to do first, it'll benefit you a lot.
I'm grateful. I don't know whether we can get the instructor Kevin email so that you can be our mentor. That's my last question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Can I get your email or your phone number so we can?
Yes, we will pass along our admissions information for these courses. Where if you have any more questions, yes, immigration is complicated. There's a lot of things that can go into it, but having a job offer in Canada, great place to start.
Will benefit.
And that brings us.
All right, thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Thank you, Samuel.
You are great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so on that note, I think we're going to bring our live portion of this session to a close. Thank you for joining us, whether you're for Zoom, whether it's for Facebook, whether it's for YouTube in the future. Hi, future people. Okay, so if you want to get in contact with us, you can call our admissions team at 604-891-1256 or toll free 1-866-759-6006. Our local number again is 604-891-1256. You can also email us at ceinfo@ashtoncollege.ca anytime. We are happy to answer your questions. We look forward to them. We'll do our best to give you the best answers possible.